Okay, so we have a data in the AWS Guruji bucket. Okay, and we want to migrate this data to another bucket, either it from another AWS account or different bucket. Okay, or let's create different S3 bucket here. Source S3 bucket. Okay, demo, and simply just create the bucket and create one more bucket within the same account. Target and simply create bucket. Okay, so now we have two bucket, and let's say in the source bucket we want to add some data. Okay, to sync it, let's add some files and folders. Let's add these files and create any folder, and inside that folder let's upload the one more sample files, because in real time you might have a different multiple AWS folder in the inside the S3 bucket. It might be a log or something. Okay, and simply upload. Have you heard about the pre-sign URL concept in the S3 bucket? Anyone?
Yes, we can give uh, like for limited time access
Yes, yes.
to the S3 bucket.
I just remind that. So let's say this was, if I try to access this data from the browser directly, okay, it will give the access. Okay, because access denied, because by default S3 object is a private in the private. Okay, it's not publicly accessible. But if you want to share this content to any specific person or something, so there is options like, pre-signing basically. If you just click on that particular file or image, and there is an option share with a pre-sign URL. Okay, it's basically temporary session. You can give the permission to specific person or anyone. You can either set with the hours if you want to give anyone for access for the 1 hour or something, and if you want to give the access for only particular minutes. So for just testing purpose I am just giving 1 minute. Okay, and let me create the URL. You can just copy from here, copy pre-sign URL. Okay, and let's try to hit here. Now I'm able to access, right? So let's try after 1 minute. So coming back to our regular points, so now we have uploaded the data on the source bucket, right? And let's check the, go back to the target bucket and let's see. So as of now we don't have any bucket data inside the bucket. Okay, target bucket. So we can use data sync service. Okay, inside data sync service we need to configure the jobs for the both bucket, source to target, to migrate the data. Process is very simple. Just search the data sync service here. Just type data sync. Okay, it will come. Just click on that, and you can just to create, click on create task here. Source location, basically we can give the source location here. There is a multiple supported services here, you can try for your practical purpose. You can migrate the data EFS, hosted, or any Hadoop, or any other NFS or SMB or something. Okay, so for now just go with the S3 bucket. Select the region where is you have created the bucket basically, and then select the bucket. So in the bucket list just select source bucket, this one. Okay, if you want to migrate only particular folder data, just you can just add the only that particular folder name here, or for the all bucket migration you can just skip that part. And there is a required one role to access the bucket basically. If you have any existing role, you can select from here list. Okay, otherwise you can just click on this auto generate. It will automatically create with the required permission. Okay, we don't need to create manually here. It will automatically detect, create new one, and just simply click on next. Here destination option, we need to give the destination option where we want to migrate the data basically. Just from the location type, create, select the S3 bucket. Okay, and select the target bucket here, target S3 bucket. Okay, and as we want to migrate all the buckets, so we don't need to give the folder name here. And select the, click on auto generate IAM role. It will automatically create for you. Okay, and then just click on next. You can give the task name here like demo data sync. Okay, verify only data transfer. There is multiple options you can choose based on your requirement. Okay, project requirement basically. It will automatically verify the data after the transfer or something. So let me select the default one, and you can give the bandwidth limit here if you want to give any specific limit, but just for now just go with the default one. And okay, and then transfer mode, basically you want to transfer all the data or transfer only data that has changed. Like if you just select this option, and it will transfer the data one time, and after that it will, if the anyone upload the data over there, it will automatically sync in on the target bucket. Okay, so now I'm just go with the transfer all the data. And here is options you can choose according to your requirement. Okay, in the project, keep deleted files, keep files in the destination even when delete from the source. If someone deleted any data from the source bucket, you can choose option basically what need you requirement you need. If someone deleted data from the source, that should automatically delete, so you can just remove these options. Okay, and for the overwriting files, you can just, based on your requirement, you can just select these options. And if you want to select the frequency, like suppose you have a daily basis, you will get the data in the source bucket, and you want to transfer all the data whichever received on the daily basis, you want to migrate to target bucket. So according to that you can just schedule the frequency basically. Either you need hourly basis you want to sync, or daily basis or something. So based on that you can just select the options. Okay, so for now I will not schedule, I will just push manually. Okay, and then just click on next, and it will give the summary basically, source bucket and target bucket. Okay, and just click on create task. So now is task has been created. If you just click on start, okay, start with the default options, and it will start, and you can see the status here. It's in launching state. It will take some time to transfer the data. It's again depend on your data size basically. If there is a large data in GB or a TB, so it will take too much time. If it's a data is in very less size, it will sync within a some time basically, minimum time. So as of now there is no data. So once the job gets succeed, it will transfer the data. Okay, we can see the status here. So meantime just go to that URL again which we have generated the pre-signed URL. Okay, let's refresh this URL. It should not accessible, request has expired. So this way you can share any particular URL content to any people basically in the for particular time period with the pre-signed URL concept. Let's refresh it. There is other lots of option basically, you can just go with that individually. If you want to monitoring the report or something, schedule, history when the job is running. Okay, it's still in launching state. Still data has not copied because it's still running state. In interview you might get the questions like the situation based, like how you can migrate the data from one bucket to another, or you might get the questions how to migrate your S3 bucket data to any other services which we have seen in the task configuration, right? When we create the task, and location type you can see here. दररोज बॅचचे टाइमलाच का होते? डिस्कनेक्ट झालं. Okay, screen is visible. Basically, the network got disconnected. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, the network got disconnected basically. So let's say if I refresh this screen, check the job status. So job status is completed. Okay,
I think recording is stopped.
so it's going on.
Okay.
Let's refresh the target bucket, and you can see target buckets got the data, right? Whatever there are. So we can verify with the source. Just open in the new tab, and in this tab we will just go with the source bucket, source S3 bucket. Okay, we have this five objects, and all the data has been migrated here. Okay, whatever the present in the source bucket, and let's verify in folder as well, test folder. Yeah, you can see inside the source bucket. Okay, yeah, and in the test folder we have this object, right? So same has been migrated in target as well, target bucket as well, in the target bucket test folder. So this way you can migrate the data with the minimum efforts. You don't need to configure the cross account access to share the, migrate the data basically if you have any large amount of data over there.
Okay.
And if,
Understood. This is for ES3, but let's say the scenario is we have load balancers and we have two servers and it's having separate databases and we need to sync it out. Then how we can make integrity or how we can check the integrity of that particular data for the RDS?
ideally for the in the environment, like you have one is, let's say you have load balancer, right? And you have in that you have a 2:2 instance, right?
Yes.
And for 2:2 instance you are using RDS, different RDS, you mean to say?
Yes. Or that is not the case.
That is
We
not,
need to.
the case because
Mhm.
it will route, if you understand the three tier architecture, basically we will come in the later part, in the later session.
Mhm.
So load balancer, as we have explained in the load balancer session, It's just by using
Hmm.
round robin method, it will route the traffic to the
Right.
healthy state EC2 instance. Okay, one by one.
Correct.
And
Yeah.
your both EC2 instance application, basically you need to use the credential string, database string, basically. That is for the single database. And for the single database, you might have architecture like master slave architecture. Let's say this is for the master database server, and in that you have set up the replications like, master slave architecture. This is for the slave
Okay.
database server. So that is for the just sync the data from this master, basically. Okay. So you can use this single database credentials in the both applications when you design your applications for the both servers, basically.
Okay. Okay.
And in general cases, let's say you have a different database servers, like this is for the application A. Okay. Let me open and separate. You have two database service, right? In account A or something, or for application one. Okay. And you have another AWS, database, which is for the different application. If there is a case, any migration cases, you want to migrate the data from this source database to this one. Okay, another database, basically. The migration cases, you want to migrate this database. So in that case, you can go with the database migration service in the AWS. If you just search database migration service,
Okay.
DMS, you can use this service, database migration service. So in the coming session, if I get the time, I will definitely show you, because I need to set up the one database and enable the replication for that case, and we need to try that migration activity. This is also the good actually task to know how we can migrate the data from one location to another, or on-prem to your AWS cloud, basically. So you can use this service, database migration service. From here, you need to configure the replication instance, basically, and the endpoints, where is your source database and target database, and you can just run the jobs there to sync the data. So we will definitely try in the later session. Just remind me
Yeah.
for this,
Uh,
we'll try.
yeah. And one more question. Let's say we have master slave architecture for that particular database IDS, and let's say your master gets down somehow.
Hmm.
And does have you faced any situation like that? The data haven't been sync.
As of now, I don't have any ideas, but in the when we have already covered the ideas, right? So in that session,
Mhm.
I was explain how we can promote the slave database to master one, right? So in
Yes.
that, if you just go to that session once again, you will get your
No, no, I understood the master slave architecture, but still, is there any real scenario like it's haven't gets sync, or it's the integrity haven't been maintained? Miss, is there any case, miss, in real scenario?
there might be depend on the workload on the slave server, basically. But in the database, when you create the database and master slave with the master slave architecture, there is an option,
Mhm.
a replica lag. From there, you can monitor how many seconds it's lagging, basically, behind the
Okay.
master. So if say
Mhm.
if it's extended beyond certain time, like 1 hour or something, obviously we need to create the CloudWatch metrics for this, because if some server goes very far from the master, then you are reading use a slave server in the read operations in your environment in the applications. So you
Mhm.
updated data, you will not get there, right? Because data is still lagging. But there
Mhm.
is a very rare chance, because IDS is a managed service. So
Mhm.
until and unless there is any network issues for the slave server, you might get this kind of issues. But till now, I haven't faced this kind of issues. We are using for the 2 3 projects for the master slave architecture. There might be a minor lagging, basically, within some milliseconds or something, but it will not beyond that, until and unless there is any network issue from the backend side, like AWS side.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. But if you look at the traditional way, if you have a Linux based server in your own data center, so you might be the server like master slave architecture, right? I mean the master slave replications. You need to completely set up the manual way. Just enable the replication, configure the replication user, basically, in the database, and then you need to configure the replication jobs, there are some queries, right, to set up the replications. In that situation you might get the replications lag. You can just check the by query. So in that situation you can just there might be a chances to have this replication issue in traditional way. So you need to sync the data again from masters to slave server by stopping the slave activity on the slave server, and you can just dump the data, latest data, to the this slave server. In the traditional way you are able to restore the data on the same database server, but in the RDS if you take the snapshot, any snapshot, or it will come in the snapshot window, right, in these options. So this snapshot you can't directly restore into the back to your original instance directly. I mean to say directly. You have another options like you can use any client, and manually you can just dump the data and you can restore with the creation of the database, but you can't directly restore the into the original instance. You need to launch one more instance here, RDS instance, and then you can just use that data, but you can't restore it into the existing database from here. And just make sure for the database, if you have running any database over here, and you have automated backup, okay, automated backup schedule, and you have your task is completed and you want to delete this RDS instance, but still you want to keep one database backup for any future reference. So obviously during the database deletion it will ask to have a final snapshot backup there. If you don't select that, so and you just straightforward you just go there and delete your database, you will not if you have any existing snapshot here, okay, it will also automatically delete. You can't get back. And if you just if you can take a manual backup, it will come in the, the manual option, and it will not delete after the deletion of your RDS instance. This is the one difference in this automated backup and manual backup. It will not delete if you take the manual backup. It will delete only system generated backup if you delete the RDS instance. Let's try to upload one more folder file, so here in the source bucket, okay, or let's create one empty folder here and inside that we can just upload any random files. Sorry, not folder. And just upload. To access the S3 bucket there is a one more no additional client. Basically I will not recommend to use this S3 browser. So you can use this to connect your S3 bucket and download and upload the files basically. But for the security reasons you should not use any third party application to access your S3 bucket, because we need to give the credentials here, right, access key and secret key. So that is a security risk. Just for your knowledge purpose I'm just showing. You can use this client S3 browser. So now we have created one more test folder here, and we have just uploaded some folder files here, okay. Let's try to run this data sync job again, okay. Just simply click on that. We are manually pushing now because we haven't schedule any frequency, okay. If you have scheduled any frequency it will automatically execute at that time and it will sync. Just click on action and start. So it will take some time to resync again. Any question on this service for the migration? For the database, you can use database migration service. It's very useful to migrate the data from account to account or any on-prem to AWS. Okay, and for the database, sorry, S3 bucket kind of data, you can use this service, data sync. So tomorrow we will connect on the same time just to recap for any question Q&A, and we will see this practical demo. I just note down the questions. I will check on this. So tomorrow is possible for you to connect, right? 7:30.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Yes.
Ajit and Namita, just for your information, Vasu he is living in the USA right now, so we need to consider their time as well. He is in
Okay.
just the time zone.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. Okay, it's in running state now. Have you tried with the creation of the IMA users and enable the multi-factor authentication over there? Anyone try?
Yes.
Okay. So there are multiple policies you can set up basically. So you can just have a practicals, because each things it's not possible for me to show for the multiple policy, but you can just explore one by one. Basically, the required policy only, Lambda function, IS3 or any other services. I think it's successfully executed. Let's check one again, and let's go to the target bucket and just refresh, and just go to the folder, test folder. Inside the test folder, we have new folder to sync, right? It's you can see in the target bucket. Okay, that has been successfully migrated from the source bucket, right? So this way you can just use this data sync service to migrate the data. So time taken, it will depends on the time data size basically. If the data is larger, then it will take some time to sync. And in real time cases, let's say you have a larger data, some e-commerce website or any organization who is working on big data or something, they might have a, in 10 data in terabyte. So in that situation, you can use their dedicated service, Snowball. It's an offline data migration process basically. AWS Snowball. Anyone heard about this?
Yeah.
Yeah. See,
This one they'll copy the data into Snowball. They'll wherever they require, they'll copy there.
Yes,
from
yes.
their data
It
center.
might be a more chargeable. I'm not sure how much they charge, but there is certain process we need to raise if you have any large amount of data. So this kind of device you can see. Yeah, if there are no questions for today, then we will wrap up and we will connect same time tomorrow. So Bhagwan, for you, we will definitely record the session. So don't worry on that. We will just cover the any Q and A if if our team have.